Jehovah's Witnesses just released a new Caleb and Sophia video called Don't Give Up. If you're unfamiliar, Caleb and Sophia is a propaganda cartoon by Jehovah's Witnesses targeted toward kids.
What toy is that?
It's Sparlock, the warrior wizard.
Whoa, a warrior wizard.
Yeah, my friend gave it to me. All the kids are going to see the movie. Can I see it too?
Oh, your friend gave this to you. So what if you disobey Jehovah and play with toys he doesn't like? Do you want Jehovah to be sad?
No. I don't want Jehovah to be sad with me.
No, I don't want Jehovah to be sad with you either. So what do you think you should do with this toy? Caleb, I am so proud of you. You made Mommy very happy.
It's intended to deliver a very specific message to them, and it's usually a message that exclusively benefits Jehovah's Witness leadership and nobody else. So let's take a look at the latest one. It's titled Don't Give Up. Let's get into it.
Hi, I'm Sophia. I have a great video about God's promise for the earth.
Oh, sweetheart, thank you. I'm not interested.
Growing up as a Jehovah's Witness, I definitely remember this kind of interaction. There was a lot of not interested, which was honestly preferable to some other reactions I got to knocking on people's doors at 9 a.m. on a Saturday morning. But they don't need to get everybody. Jehovah's Witnesses realize that even if 0.1% of the people who answer the door show any kind of interest, if they get everybody out there knocking on doors, even the children, eventually they'll bring a few new people in. And they do everything they can to guarantee their current members don't leave. This is one of the things that makes Jehovah's Witnesses a cult, the way they prevent members from leaving. They can't jail them. They can't use physical force to make them do anything they don't want to do, legally. So instead of physical force, they coerce them by exploiting them mentally. It's called undue influence. They hold the threat of taking every friend and family member they've ever known or loved away from them, permanently. That's not an exaggeration. It happened to me because I didn't fit into the Jehovah's Witness life the way they wanted me to. I was disfellowshipped when I was 18 for, among other things, smoking a cigarette. That was heinous enough for my mom to never speak to me again for the rest of her life. Another expectation they have of their people is to go knocking on doors, as they're showing Sophia doing here. They take it so seriously that the governing body member Tony Morris said if you don't knock on doors, also known as going in service, you probably won't make it through Armageddon with everybody else.
The humans sitting next to you, they might have an idea because they know you well and you haven't been out in service in weeks. Well, guess what? Most likely God's seeing some blood all over your hands. Or they go totally inactive and we appeal to them, we try to help, but you cannot water down what God says here. If your hands are not clean because you've been out warning, then they have blood on them and you're going to lose your life.
Now, that specific offense isn't bad enough to lose your entire family, at least not immediately. But as I said, they use mind control to manipulate people into following their instructions. If you don't knock on doors like you're supposed to, people believe they aren't going to see you in the new system, and they stop bothering to have a relationship with you because it's a waste of time anyways. And as you could see in the Caleb and Sophia video, they start drilling this in early. It's a requirement. Doing manual labor for the Watchtower Society, aka Jehovah's Witnesses, is mandatory. If you don't, then you're risking the next life, and your family might just decide to stop talking to you in this life too. But we're only 17 seconds into the Caleb and Sophia video so far, and trust me, it gets worse. Let's keep watching.
And you can read the Bible and watch videos.
Really busy, kid.
Can we take a break?
Yeah.
A break already?
Yeah, man, getting rejected over and over again sucks. It's not fun, especially for kids. But Jehovah's Witnesses don't care. You're supposed to do it anyways, whether you like it or not, as we'll see in a second. Let's keep watching.
A break might be nice, but before we go, do you remember when Jesus preached
Did everybody listen to him?
No.
So, why didn't Jesus give up?
Because he wanted everyone to hear the good news.
That's right. So, how about we each try another house?
Oh, hi, Chuck.
That's the kid that torments Caleb at school. Check this out. This is from an episode called Make Jehovah Happy. It's all about how you shouldn't go to college because that would be making yourself happy. You should just clean windows like most other Jehovah's Witnesses and devote your life to knocking on doors. The episode starts out by showing what Sophia's interested in, which is college, and then it shows what Caleb's interested in, superheroes and video games. By the end of the episode, they both reject their two temptations. This is Caleb's section.
Come on, it's fun.
Forget it. He's a loser. Let me play with it.
Are you gonna play or not?
They were trying to show you what the world has to offer. Of course, the tormentor gets to play as many video games as he wants, and that's what it leads to, I guess. Eating Cheetos off the ground. Remember, this is propaganda, and as such, every scene is placed in the video specifically and intentionally to give a certain message. They depict the tormentor as a big dumb slob, because that's what playing video games or going to college leads to. Before we continue, I wanted to mention something. If you like what I do and you want to see me continue to do it, you can support me by checking out my Teespring, or by checking out Patreon. YouTube has been extremely unreliable lately. Patreon gives me the stability I need to continue making videos no matter what YouTube is doing. I also started streaming on Twitch recently, and I've been uploading the edited Twitch streams to a new YouTube channel called Telltale Unfiltered. I play games while reviewing long-form videos like JW Broadcasting episodes or Kent Hovind's seminar series about evolution. So if you like long-form stuff, check out my other channel, Telltale Unfiltered. You might find it interesting. Anyways, let's continue on with Caleb and Sophia. Now that we know what kind of terrible situation Caleb has stumbled upon, let's watch that last clip one more time.
Oh, hi, Chuck.
I've been in this situation. Believe me, it is not fun, and it's only gonna get worse. It probably doesn't help that you're expected to treat your school as your own territory to be worked. Preach to every kid you see because you have the opportunity to reach some people who couldn't be reached at the door. Maybe because they live in a gated community or their parents refuse to answer for evangelizers. This could be the only way they get that message, so you, as a 12-year-old kid, are expected to deliver the message to them. For Jehovah, you're a team player, aren't you? It makes you an outcast, which is probably part of the plan. And if it isn't part of the plan, it works to their benefit anyways. It's nearly impossible to make friends on the outside of the religion when you put on the personality that Jehovah's Witnesses expect you to, which is great because being friends with outsiders is heavily discouraged anyways. A win-win for the organization. Using kids as free labor to bring new people into your religion so you can collect more money from them is bad enough, but the way they go about it and the way they frame it is absolutely grotesque. This isn't the only thing Caleb and Sophia is about, but they sure talk about it a lot. Check out the next clip. This one's called Let's Go in Service. As I mentioned, going in service is the phrase they use to refer to door knocking. Let's watch.
Sophia, are you ready to go out in service? What's in your bag? Looks like you're missing something. What do you need for service? Very good! You need your Bible for service. Do you need anything else? Kids, can you help Sophia? Which one does she need for service?
Magazines!
That's right, kids!
It's like a Dora the Explorer type of thing. It's terrible. They want to frame it up in a way that'll make free manual labor seem appealing and fun to young kids. Get them when they're young and you'll have them for life. This really is the definition of undue influence. Undue influence is influence by which a person is induced to act otherwise than by their own free will or without adequate attention to the consequences. You can't possibly act of your own free will and with adequate understanding of what you're doing if you're at the age where Caleb and Sophia videos entertain you. This is what undue influence is. The idea is to get them when they aren't old enough to understand. Threaten them with the possibility that they might lose every friend and family member they've ever had if they question it, and they'll spend the rest of their life inside the religion. They'll continue on the cycle of undue influence for future generations because they think this is normal. They think this is just what you do. This is all they know, and when they turn 25 or 30 and get married and have kids, it's all their kids will know too. Let's keep watching.
Sophia, one more thing. How will you remember the people we meet? Very good. Do you have a pencil? Excellent, Sophia. I think you're all set. Kids, what do you think? Is she ready?
Yes!
Okay, let's go practice what you're gonna say.
Training them to be good Jehovah's Witnesses from the age of 5. Get them early and you'll have them for life. It's absolutely wrong. Check this one out. This is for the boys or something, I guess. It's called Be Good in the Ministry. Another term for door knocking, by the by.
So you are excited to go out in service. Do you think you are ready? Not so fast. Before you go in the ministry, there's a few things we need to go over. First, we must learn the 3 P's.
The 3 P's?
Yes, preparation, personal appearance, and proper behavior. First, preparation. Preparation is the first pillar of success in the ministry. Every job requires the proper tools. When it comes to tools for preaching, the variety might seem intimidating, but never fear. We have the teaching toolbox. Finding the right tools is easier than ever.
Yeah, they take door knocking pretty seriously. You aren't allowed to knock on people's doors as a Jehovah's Witness unless you reach a certain level called unbaptized publisher. It usually takes a few months of studying with Jehovah's Witnesses every week and showing up to every meeting. Then, after becoming an unbaptized publisher, you're expected to knock on doors and go to every meeting consistently for about a year before they'll let you get baptized. It takes forever to join the religion. But would you guess that it's significantly easier for children to get baptized? If they're with a guardian, they don't even need to be an unbaptized publisher. Jehovah's Witnesses have even praised kids getting baptized as young as 6 or 7 years old.
I got baptized because I love Jehovah with my whole heart. Jehovah still loves me, even though I'm made from dust and I'm so little.
Are they really old enough to understand the consequences of their actions at that point? Are they old enough to understand that they're putting their entire lives and everybody they ever knew on the line? Jehovah's Witnesses seem to think so. Anyways, little Caleb here is preparing to go in service, so let's keep watching the video they made about it to prepare other little kids to do free labor for the organization.
Once you have your tools, make sure and practice your presentation before you leave the house. Wouldn't want to be preparing on the doorstep. Now that you are well prepared, it's time to talk about personal appearance. How we look is very important because we represent Jehovah. Getting ready for the ministry, we need to make sure our appearance is saying the right things. Jehovah wants your appearance to be well-arranged and modest. What that means is that we look and smell clean. Our clothes fit well, but not too well.
Let me tell you why this part's so funny. The governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses is made up of 8 men who live in New York. They make all the decisions and call all the shots for everybody. They come up with the doctrinal changes and clear all the literature and everything. If they wanted to, they could make an announcement tomorrow that says we are no longer shunning ex-members of the group. And just like that, my mom would talk to me again. No questions asked. But guess what they're talking about instead of that? Guess what one of them, Tony Morris, has made his main focus in life?
It's not that you don't dress nice to fit your physique, that's fine. That's what Max and I do. What's wrong is this extremely tight pants. It's not appropriate for a Christian. And I want you brothers to think about this. Do Do you remember that many homosexuals are in the clothing industry and doing the designing? Don't you know they love it when you're wearing tight pants? Oh yeah, you chuckle. I don't think it's funny. I think it's disgusting.
There are 1,000 more examples of him talking about the fashion industry and how it's filled with people from the LGBT community who really want to see you in tight pants. That's just the clip I happen to have on hand. Just search for Toni Morris tight pants on YouTube if you want to see more. Anyway, seemingly out of nowhere, this Caleb and Sophia video comes out.
Our clothes fit well, but not too well.
When you think about it, that's actually pretty funny. The dude is absolutely obsessed with tight pants, like to an unhealthy degree. He talks about them entirely too much. Anyways, let's keep watching the Caleb and Sophia video.
Now it's time to talk about proper behavior. Our conduct while in the ministry is another way we can bring praise to Jehovah. So make sure you are on your best behavior. Avoid talking or laughing loudly, playing around, or intruding on anyone's property or privacy. Also, no eating at the door. Remember, when we go door to door, people see us, and good behavior gives a good witness. We would never want to give anyone a reason to find fault with our ministry.
They do take it pretty seriously. My family took it so seriously when I was little that we actually practiced before going out and knocking on doors.
Can I go out in service now?
Yes, looks like you are ready. It's time to put the 3 P's to the test.
Hi, my name's Caleb. What's your name?
Hi, Caleb. My name is...
When I was a kid, they had these things called Kingdom Ministries, which I've heard have been discontinued since I left. But they were just these short little 4-page pamphlets that contained announcements the governing body had for the members. Like, if they were to announce that they don't shun people anymore, they would have put it in that. But in the back of the Kingdom Ministry, they had suggestions for openers you could use at the door when introducing yourself and trying to give away the Watchtower and Awake magazines. When I was a kid, they released 1 Watchtower and 1 Awake per month. 32 pages each. Your job was to hand them out to as many people as you possibly could. So the Kingdom Ministry had a little suggestion in the back about each issue of the Watchtower and Awake. Like, if the Watchtower had a picture on the front about pollution, the little blurb in the Kingdom Ministry would recommend you comment about how beautiful their lawn looks or something. Here's an example. Hi, my name's Owen. I'm one of Jehovah's Witnesses. I just noticed how beautiful your lawn looked. You must put a lot of work into upkeep. It would be wonderful if the whole earth could look like this one day, wouldn't it? Wait for them to answer. According to the Bible, God says he will make the earth look like this one day. We've been out talking to your neighbors about it and wondered if you wanted to take these magazines. There's an article about how God will clean up all pollution one day, free of charge. Fitting that last point in is important. People usually expect to pay something. Anyways, the point is that when I was a kid, I'd read the back of the Kingdom Ministry for ideas when going up to somebody's door and knocking on it. I'd prepare and practice just like Caleb did in this video. I guess not much has changed since I've left. They're still exploiting kids for their free labor. But like I said, that's not the only thing Caleb and Sophia is about. It's a whole series of videos about a number of different subjects. And apparently, it's just celebrated its 10th anniversary or something. None other than Tight Pants Toni Morris himself released a video to celebrate. Check this out.
It's hard to believe it's been almost a decade since that first release in 2012. In that time, the Become Jehovah's Friends series has proved to be a real gift from Jehovah. Through these Bible lessons, children can learn to be kind, to be honest, to be respectful, and to develop other godly qualities that help them see and obey the one who is invisible.
I love that they frame it like that. The one who's invisible. That's pretty funny. Almost like it isn't the invisible one they're obeying. The invisible one doesn't ever seem to be the one setting the rules. Like I said, the governing body could release an announcement tomorrow telling the members they aren't shunning anymore. They make the doctrine, they call the shots, they direct everything from the top down. The governing body is effectively synonymous with Jehovah, or the invisible one, as they call him. Anyways, as we've seen just in the past few minutes, it isn't about just teaching them to be honest or kind. mind. It's propaganda, and its intent is to create clones who can serve the organization. Just framing it like that alone is a perfect example of propaganda. Let's keep watching.
We're going to let Christian parents tell how these videos have helped their children to become Jehovah's friend.
Katie Ann had a really hard time working together with the older brothers and sisters in the congregation.
They're kind of slow, but lesson 25, making friends, was just what I needed.
We spent a few weeks discussing the videos during our family worship evening. These videos strengthened my relationship with Jehovah. I know that he hasn't forgotten me as a single parent. It can be so hard for single parents because they're trying to take on the role of both parents.
Being a single parent in the Jehovah's Witness religion is exceedingly rare. Almost everybody is married by the age of 18 because sleeping with somebody outside of marriage is one of those things that'll get you shunned for the rest of your life. Your mind is going absolutely crazy through your teen years, so by the time you turn 18, you're looking for the very first person you can find. Marrying outside the religion is heavily discouraged, if not outright banned, so your options are limited. And you don't know how long those options will be around since everybody else is marrying off as early as possible. Pretty much the only time you find a single parent within the religion is when the mother was already married with a kid before she joined the religion, and she decided to get divorced, join the religion, and brainwashed her kid right along with her. Either that or the parent dies in some freak accident. Those are pretty much the only two scenarios you ever find single parents in the organization, because divorce is strictly forbidden except under very specific circumstances. But it seemed like a good opportunity to show that the governing body looks out for everybody in the religion, not just people who perfectly fit into the mold. Let's keep watching.
I got baptized because I love Jehovah with my whole heart. Jehovah still loves me, even though I'm made from dust and I'm so little.
He took some of the weight off my shoulders.
Is she really old enough to understand the consequences of her actions? She isn't old enough to get a tattoo. She isn't old enough to get married. She shouldn't be old enough to get baptized as a Jehovah's Witness. In my opinion, it should be against the law for children to enter into a binding, lifelong contract like that. Whether they appear to want to enter it or not, they aren't mentally or emotionally mature enough to understand the consequences of their actions. Let's watch the next part. It gets even worse, surprisingly.
Laura, our middle child, was perfectly healthy until she turned 4 years old. That's when she was diagnosed with a rare tumor in her central nervous system. Unfortunately, when the treatment was over, Laura passed away.
This is incredibly heartbreaking. I am very sorry they had to deal with that. Did you hear the sad music in the background? Do you see the looks on their faces? This is propaganda. Jehovah's Witnesses are masters at creating propaganda. I'm not completely convinced it's true, but I guess it isn't an inconceivable situation. So let's see where they're taking this. Let's continue.
Even while she was sick, she just loved watching the videos. Her favorite one was Let's Go in Service. This video really made her want to talk about Jehovah.
During the time that she was receiving chemotherapy treatments, which lowered her immunity, we couldn't even leave the house with her. But sometimes we'd bring her to get a checkup or get an exam done. And the doctor would say that everything was fine for now, that her immunity was okay. And the very first thing that she'd say to the doctor was, "So I can go in the ministry, right?" And the doctor would laugh and say, "Sure you can." And our family would take advantage of those times to go in field service together, as a family, all together. That made Laura so happy.
This is so beyond messed up. As I said, this is propaganda. True or not, Jehovah's Witnesses are using this situation to make a point. If you're on your deathbed, you should be talking to the nurse about Jehovah. You should be bringing new converts in up to your last moment. This is how these Caleb and Sophia videos affect kids. It's a gateway to get them involved in the religion. It's a method of pulling them in and integrating it into every part of their lives. And even if they're sick, they should be hyper-focused on serving the organization. For free. Did the organization pay for her medical bills? No, but they sure didn't have a problem with asking for free labor. From a 4-year-old cancer patient. Really. I don't see how they got away with releasing something so callous without getting backlash from it. Surprisingly, nobody said a word. Not that I can tell anyways. Jehovah's Witnesses are just fine with this. They seem to think it's nice that the organization is trying to exploit cancer patients. It's just hard to wrap my head around the fact that people don't see right through this. But interestingly, they tip their hand at the very end. Check this out.
It does us good to remember why the Become Jehovah's Friends series was created. These videos were not designed as mere entertainment to simply pacify children for a short period of time. These lessons were designed to help children build a relationship with Jehovah so they can live and serve him forever. How do you think Jehovah feels, knowing that a young child can come to know him through this animated series and grow up to become his dedicated servant? That is truly special.
That is truly disturbing. Well, I guess we know what the goal is now. I mean, it seemed obvious to us before, but I guess they aren't trying to hide it anymore. It's all about brainwashing. It always has been, since the beginning. It's always been about pulling people in and trapping them for the rest of their lives. Get them as young as you possibly can so they have no way out when they get older. They'll never question it again, or they risk losing everything. The governing body just doesn't care about pretending anymore, do they? Anyways, that's all I've got for you. Thanks for watching, guys.